Good afternoon. It is a privilege to speak about an exceptional individual, Mr. Vinay Kumar GB, the founder of Insights IAS. It is with great admiration and respect that I share with you an inspiring journey of a man who has transformed the landscape of civil services exam preparation and has guided countless aspirants towards their dreams of serving the nation. After completing graduation in genetics, he started working as a Panchayat Development Officer in Mysore. With a deep understanding of the challenges and demands of the civil services examination, he founded Insights IS, an institution that has revolutionized the way candidates approach and succeed in this prestigious examination. Mr. Vinay Kumar's expertise, experience, and empathy has earned him immense respect and admiration within the civil services community. His unwavering commitment to the success of his students is evident in the remarkable results which were achieved by Insight IS year after year. Get ready to unlock the secrets of cracking this renowned UPSC Civil Services exam. Being as part of Insight 8 Mile, it would give me immense pleasure to call upon Mr. Vinay Kumar.
Very good afternoon. How are you all? Good. So I see the campus is in festive mode. So I was apprehensive that if you would, turn up today. So how many of you are participating in various events today? I mean, in the upcoming fests? All of you are participating. So all of you are involved in extracurricular activities. Very good. So how many of you are preparing already for civil services? No one. Okay, good. How many of you are interested? How many of you want to take up the civil services? Almost everyone. So you have come voluntarily here, not by force. Huh? Anybody? Anybody by force? ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಬೈ ಫೋರ್ಸಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ರೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಸೊ ಐ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಎಂಗೇಜ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಅವರೇನೋ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಸಾರಿ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಐ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ನಾನ್ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್? ಓ, half the RV is non-Kannadiga, I think. Right? Huh? So all those wearing Kannada t-shirt from Karnataka. So who are wearing this Kannada Abba t-shirt? Those who are not from Karnataka. Is proudly raising his hand. Right. Okay, so let us start. So what do you mean by civil service? Can anybody define what is the difference between civil service and public service? How do you differentiate? You frequently hear, right? Public service, civil service. What is the difference? Okay, so very good. So that's the right difference. Can you improvise it? Can anyone? So she said that civil service is bureaucratic. Public service, somebody can voluntarily do. Even a politician is also a public servant. So what is the another difference you can think of?
Public servants are elected by the people, whereas civil services have shown their caliber by working in some examination. Afterwards, they have been chosen to be a civil servants.
Very good. So basically, a civil servant is somebody who is salaried, employed by the government. So they are the part of the permanent executive. Whereas politician is not permanent, they will come and go as you keep witnessing every year. So now, so those who have come here, why do you want to be part of the civil services? Have you made up your mind? The one who gave the exact difference. So why do you want to be in civil service?
It is a way where you can, since when you want to make a difference, like everyone has a complaints, but only complaining won't work. At the end of the day, we have to do something. Work like most like for any common man, we can go to civil service.
Yeah, got your point. So the complaining doesn't work. We hear complaining everywhere. We complain about everything. So he wants to be part of that system. Has anybody thought about it, like why you want to be part of civil services? Girls? So you got free ride in buses. What do you think about it? No, we are asking that question, in our mains section. What do you think about freebies? Don't worry, I'll come into civil services how to crack. I'm just having warm up session now, right? So, what do you think about this freebies? Anybody? I just want to see how socially aware you are. What is your understanding about all the socio-economic issues, and why you want to be in civil services? Because that is the starting point. And I am somebody. They gave a very big introduction. Just to add to that, so this year around 2,500 students, I mean candidates, gave interview, right? So among them 933 got ranks. So of the 2,400 odd candidates who appeared in the interview, I have personally guided more than 600 candidates, one to one. So what we call as one to one interaction for interviews, we call it as mock interviews. So I had the privilege and advantage of guiding, because we have institutions all around India, and so I am regarded as some kind of interview expert in this UPSC journey. So students all around India come, and the very first question we ask to them is that, why do you want to become civil servant, right? So can anybody answer from the crowd? So you are studying in RV College, right? RV College has a great reputation, and it has a strong tradition of giving toppers every year. So and last 6-7 years they happen to come to Insights IAS, get guidance under me and our team, and we have this very good relationship. So what do you think? So why do you want to become civil servant? Can anybody answer? You might have saw videos on YouTube, right? The mock interview videos, all well uh, recorded videos. So what do you think? So few more people are coming. Good. So why do you want to become civil servant?
It gives power
It gives you power. Very good.
to bring the change in the society and to bring the change in the people, wherever or whichever the way we want.
Very good. To bring the change in the society, bring the change wherever he wants. Any other answer?
So it's the only career where we have a bigger social impact than compared to other careers.
Very good. It's the only career where it has bigger social impact compared to other careers. So that is his thinking, which I appreciate.
So diversity in the job.
Very good. So this is the point I was expecting, diversity in the job, right? So can somebody explain what is diversity in the job?
So basically, if we study now computer science engineering, we'll be sitting at a desktop and doing the same thing. Whereas when we get into IAS or IPS, we'll be posted into different areas, so we can understand the problems and solve it.
Good.
It is comparatively.
So in fact, in 2014, we invited one of our toppers. So his name is uh, Sai Kant Verma. So he was working in Google in 2014. He's from IIT Madras. He got All India rank 18. So this question was asked to him. He was having a great job at Google. Then why did he cleared this exam in very first attempt. All India rank 18, 2014, CSC 2014. So when it was asked, by then he had already entered service for 1 year, and he was given the responsibility to organize, host, conduct one of the biggest festival in somewhere near Vishakhapatnam. Right, he was the sole person who was responsible for organizing everything. So he gave the answer that as a Google employee, right, I would not have ever dreamt about such kind of responsibility, right? Because people from every section of society came, like in the poorest, all the genders, every section, he had to arrange everything in a way that there was no nuisance, no harm, nothing untoward incident was taking place. So he was basically responsible. So that was the answer he gave. He gave, like, at that time he was earning like more than like nearly 1 CR, right? So there was, the package was huge. So he left, and he has made very good name, and he's working in tribal region nowadays, right? Yeah, in fact, he wanted me to tie up with district administration and give free coaching to the students in tribal areas. So some officers are going extra mile to take these kind of measures to reach quality coaching or education to all the corners of the country. Okay, so far it was just a brief introduction, and I just wanted to know you. Now coming to the civil services examination, so I will divide this whole session into two parts. First, I'll briefly talk about the structure and nature of the examination, right? And then after that, nowadays, right? You might have heard about recent prelims. If you're on Twitter and Facebook or somewhere, would have heard about the difficulty level of the papers. I'll talk about that also. How the exam is evolving and what it takes to crack the examination. Right. The session might go bit longer than expected. I expect little patience, and then we can have a question and answer session also. Any doubt related to UPSC, you can freely ask. Now the structure of the examination. See, in 2000 till 2011 it was different. Till 2011 there were three stages: prelims, mains, and personality test, that is interview. But in preliminary examination there used to be optional. The way you have optional in mains, there used to be optional in prelims as well. So there was an optional paper in the morning, and then in the afternoon GS plus what we have CSAT today, aptitude. So combined paper used to be there. Both the marks used to be clubbed. And in the 2011 they introduced civil services aptitude test. So in prelims we have two papers. One is general studies. In syllabus, in notification they say GS2 for CSAT also, that is civil services aptitude test. So what do you have in general studies paper? So they test current affairs of national and international events, right? And the Indian and world geography. Then they have history, ancient to modern, and then they have Indian polity, environment, economy, and then general science, issues related to society and other things like social issues and all. So you have 100 questions in paper 1. And now what is the cutoff in paper 1? Now the paper 2 CSAT is screening. So it is just a basic test where you have to score 66.6%, that is 33%, right? So if you score 66.6% in CSAT, then only your paper 1, that is general studies, will be evaluated, right? So when it is evaluated, now what is the cutoff? The cutoff at present, the last year was 88. 88 out of 200. So to be, this is the general category, right? SC, ST, it is somewhere around 76. EWS somewhere around similar, 76 to 78. So if you want to be eligible for mains, you have to score 88 plus in prelims paper 1 and 66.6 plus in CSAT. Now this year, after the difficulty level we witnessed, the cutoff is expected somewhere around 81 to 82. This predicting cutoff for these papers is a big risk that we take, from the coaching institutions. So I used to predict exactly, like last 3-4 years. Last year it went slightly, deviated. I was expecting around 83. The cutoff was around 88. Right. Now, once you have got 82 plus, going by the difficulty level of this exam, so then you will be eligible for the mains examination. So in mains you have 9 papers. Right. There are 4 general studies papers. General studies paper 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th is called as the ethics. The first one largely tests history, art and culture, geography, society, and something related to resources. The second one is polity, governance, social justice, and international relations. The third one is economy, agriculture, environment, science and technology, security issues. Right. So this is the third general studies paper. The fourth one is called as again ethics and aptitude. So it basically tests your knowledge about moral philosophy and all the values and all the aptitude and the attitude that is required to be a good administrator, right? So again, these kind of papers in the mains were introduced in 2013. Till 2013 we used to have 2 optionals. Now we have 4 general studies paper. In addition to that, we have 1 essay paper. Essay is out of how many?
300.
Yeah, out of 300 marks. So you have not 300, it's 250 marks, right? You confused me. So it is for 250 marks. You have to write 2 essays, 125 plus 125. So that is the 5th paper. And then you have 1 optional paper for which it is divided into paper 1 and paper 2. So there are total 7 papers, 4 general studies, 1 essay paper, and then 2 Optional papers. Optional subject is one. For example, if you are from the civil engineering background, you can take civil engineering, which I don't recommend actually. We'll talk about optional, which optional to take. So there are nearly 35 subjects one can choose, ranging from political science, sociology, anthropology, public administration, geography, literature of all the scheduled languages like Kannada literature, Telugu literature, philosophy, psychology, right? So these are all the optional subjects. There are three engineering subjects: electrical, mechanical, and civil engineering. And then there is mathematics. So mathematics is very popular with students who have pursued engineering. So there are two optionals. Now each is for 250 marks, right? So when you count 7 into 250, it comes to 1750 marks, right? So for 1750 marks, there is a huge competition. In addition to these, there are two papers. One is compulsory English and another one is your mother tongue, compulsory language. So even though you are from Karnataka, right? Some people don't speak Kannada, even though they are born and brought up in Karnataka, because they have studied in Kendriya Vidyalaya, where Hindi or Sanskrit is the medium. They can choose Hindi also, right? In these two papers, you have to score qualifying marks, somewhere around 70 plus out of 250. If you qualify in these two language papers, then only all the other 7 papers will be evaluated in mains, right? Some people have failed in compulsory English and compulsory language as well. They should be taken seriously. So those two scores are not included to evaluate you for further phase, that is the interview. So out of 1750, now what is the cutoff? Those who are not aware of whatever, because some of you are already aware, I'm just refreshing. Out of 1750 in mains examination, what is the highest marks scored by a topper? No. Like, so what is the number? So this year rank 1, she scored 901, right? In mains, 901 is the highest marks out of 1750, right? Earlier, the last year it was 927, right? Before that again it was 926. The marks is also getting reduced. It is becoming extremely difficult to score above 900 in the mains phase. So now she got 901 in mains, and in the interview she scored somewhere around 176, I think. So combined score, interview is out of 275 marks. So out of 275, what is the highest marks given in interview? So this year 210, last year it was 209, before last year it was 215, right? So above 215, nobody is given in last recent, since the reforms were introduced. So out of 275 marks, if somebody scores 190 plus, they have every chance of getting into IAS, IPS and Indian Foreign Service. If soon after the result, they released a document giving the marks of mains plus interview, rank 1 to rank 933. So in top 100, there are only 3 candidates who have scored less than 170 in interview, in top 100. And in general category, if you want to become IAS, your rank must be within top 75. In general category, out of 180 IAS vacancies that are there, if you want to become IAS, you have to be in top 75, right? So if you want to get into IAS, the cutoff used to be around 225 rank. Now it is coming around 200 to 210. So if your rank is within 200 or 210, you will be IPS. Indian Foreign Service somewhere ends around rank 110 or 120. The seats are less. So past 6-7 years, there are consistently 180 IAS vacancies, 200 IPS, around 35 to 40 Indian Foreign Service. The remaining services, there are other total 23 services. There are 2 All India services in this examination, that is IAS and IPS. Indian Foreign Service is known as the Central Service. And there are other central services related to all the other departments, like you have account services, audit and account services, revenue service, customs, revenue service, income tax, civil account service, railway. Now all the railway services is combined as IRMS, Indian Railway Management Service, and then defense account services. So many other services are there. So now interview is conducted for 275 marks, right? Now what I see, most of the students, going from Karnataka or even the south, last 2 to 3 years, what I'm noticing is that they very few are able to score, forget 200 plus, 190 plus, right? So you can ask me the reason later, I'll tell you, right? So that is one reason we are not saying great number of ranks, in top 100 in recent times. To be in top 100, you have to score like 200 plus. There is an interesting case. Rank 45, she scored 197 in interview, 820 in mains, right? 820 in mains and 197 in interview. Rank 446, I think, she scored 818 in mains and 143 in interview. Do you see the difference? So with respect to mains marks, with respect to the knowledge, with respect to writing skills, presentation, whatever it is, right, they are similar. The mains marks are almost similar. But in interview, the rank 45 got 197 and she is IAS, right? The rank 446, the example I am giving, she is also under general category, but she got 143 and she won't get even IRS also, Indian Revenue Service. So regarding importance of interview, it's just a small indicator. I'll talk about in the second part of the this particular talk. So it is clear, right? Now briefly about the structure of the examination. Is it clear for everyone, those who are not aware of it, right? So now, what is the level of competition? So this year, 11,57,000 people applied for civil services examination. So last year it was around 11 lakh. So as you know, around 50% of them actually go on to give the preliminary examination. So around 4.5 to 5 lakh people give prelims and around 1:12 is taken for the mains. So this year around 14,000 are eligible for mains. There are around 1100 vacancies are there, 1100 plus vacancies are there, right? And out of 12,000 or 14,000 people who write mains, 2.5 times the posts are eligible for the interview. So if you are one among the 5 lakh people who has written prelims, you are competing for 180 IAS seats. Like if I just ask, how many of you want to become Indian Foreign Service here? Anybody who has made up mind? IFS? I see only one hand. IP, two hands, okay. IPS? 3. IAS? I mean literally everyone, right? Except for those who are not interested, sitting forcibly, maybe few people. So everybody wants to become IAS. So basically, when you enter this competition, right, one among those 4 to 5 lakh people who is writing prelims, you are trying to get into those 180 IAS. And if you're in under general category, like category wise, the number of the competition also goes on increasing. So now how to go about it? How do you prepare for such a tough competitive examination? Do you have any rough idea like how to go about it? How many of you are in first year? Oh, very good. I mean, first, second sem, first sem, second year, third year, final year. So only two. Why are you looking at them? Everyone. Why did you look at them? Okay. So only 2 people in final year, right? So I will suggest based on which year you were in, how to go about it. Now in general, speaking about the competition, now what it takes to crack this examination, civil services examination. Most of the people think that this examination is all about gaining huge amount of knowledge, right? Because the syllabus is so vast. In mains, if you, the general studies paper which I mentioned, the very first line is art and culture from ancient to modern times. This is the line they have given. And they don't give you any descriptive syllabus, UPSC. Now art and culture from ancient to modern times can cover anything from times of cave dwelling people, that is Paleolithic to the modern times. Right? The syllabus is not broken into parts, it is not descriptive. Right? The questions can be anything. So, what people think is that there is a wrong notion that because the syllabus is not descriptive, the exam has become so uncertain, we have to study each and everything under the sun. And because our education system also encourages that kind of mindset, where the focus is more on knowing facts, knowing ideas, knowing concepts, definitions that are there in our textbooks. So we carry forward the same mindset into civil services exam preparation also. So we go after books, we go after notes, we go after coaching institutions, which a candidate thinks that they will give us all the kind of material, knowledge, content needed to crack this examination. And with that assumption, what they do is that they keep on revising, remembering the same facts, example, content, and everything. But the examination has moved beyond this kind of preparation. It is so dynamic that you can never predict the question paper, the questions, either in prelims, mains, or interview. There used to be a time, like before 2017, what we used to do, we used to give prelims mock tests, right? Like 30 to 40 mock tests in a year we used to give. And after the preliminary exam was over, looking at all the questions, we would tell that 60, 70 questions from our mock tests got repeated in the examination, right? We would proudly announce on our website. So every day our Insights website gets 1.5 lakh unique visitors. There we used to announce from our mock tests, these many questions got repeated. And all the other institutions used to do the same thing. Nowadays, not a single institution, including ours, we don't have courage to claim that questions have come from our tests. All the tests are meant to train you, give you practice, right? But questions, whether as it is or some topics get repeated, but questions as it is are never repeating from any test series. The UPSC has advanced, right? Now, what it requires basically is that beyond the boundary that is stipulated, that is prescribed by the syllabus, a candidate must be innately curious. You should be curious about each and everything that is already there in syllabus and also something beyond the syllabus. For example, there was a little question this year. The question was, which of the following animal or insect, you heard about the wiggle dance, right, is related to which of the insect or something. So wiggle dance is related to hmm? Honeybees, right? Some of you know it, right? So this question, people, those who are preparing for civil services, they thought that it's a bouncer. Like, where do you fit honeybee dance in the syllabus? Right? So in prelim, they have just said like, environment and ecology, the basics of it. So it is something related to animal behavior, right? So now where do you fit? So it cannot be fit into syllabus strictly, right? So you should be born out of your curiosity. You might have seen a National Geographic documentary, a documentary, there is Planet Earth documentary in Netflix, a series of it. You might have seen it. And the students started searching in their textbooks. And it was found in the class 4 NCERT textbook. Right? Now, all the coaching institutions suggest us, from class 6th we have to read, right? So it is our fault, right? We didn't tell them they should have read this from class 4th NCERT. So, I'm not joking, some students think in this direction also, right? So people started putting this screenshot, okay, it was there in class 4th NCERT. And then what the crowd does? They start downloading class 4th. Some might overthink, let's start from class 2, right? So you never know, right? In next year examination, it can be from class 2 or first standard. So let us start our elementary education, high school education once again after post graduation. So this herd mentality is the bane, is the curse, right? The UPSC doesn't want a student, a candidate who thinks in a predictable way, right? Who anticipates predictability, right? Who has prepared his mindset and mind to face only the predictable outcomes. The paper is made so unpredictable, all 100 questions were never anticipated, and they went extra step. This year preliminary examination, they changed the nature of the question itself. Earlier there used to be question like, for example, they used to give under question, consider the following statements, let us say 3 to 4 statements, and then which of the above statements is bar are correct, right? And then they would give you 4 options, 1 2 3 1 2 3 only, 2 3 4 only, 2 3 only, all the above. This was previous year. So this year what they made is that one only, one statement was, one statement only is correct, two statements are correct, three statements are correct, four statements are, all the statements are correct. So there is no choice here. You cannot eliminate any option. If you knew only 2 options, you could eliminate because there was a choice in the options. Now there is no choice. Either you should know all the 4 statements exactly, or you should just leave the question blank, right? So here, look at the paradox here. We say the question paper has become uncertain, and what it is actually seeking from you is certainty in knowledge, right? You don't do blind guess, wild guess, right? So called intelligent guessing, no guessing, no. If you know, you answer it, right? If you don't know, you take a risk. So this is the way the UPSC examination is evolving, and it has come to mains also, it has come to interview also. So in interview, so there is one chairman, his name is Chaube. At the end of the interview, he has the habit of, the interview happens for 20 to 30 minutes, right? There are 5 panel members. You know that, right? One is UPSC member and other 4 members are from different fields. One is from academics, one is from civil services, one is from defense, one is again from the any part of the discipline, maybe culture, maybe literature, right? So this particular member has the habit of asking question in the end. Okay, your interview is over. Do you have anything to share with us in the end? Right? Now the interview is over. That is what he tells. And in the end, we are just curious. Apart from whatever we discussed, do you have anything to share with us? Right? Now, just because of this question, people are scared like hell to go to his interview. They don't know what to tell. Right? Whatever had to be asked was asked as part of the interview. Right? Maybe some parts were left out. Now, how the interview goes? There is detailed application form, right? So what we call a detailed application form. Once you cross 88 plus marks and eligible for mains, you fill detailed application forms where you mention everything about you, starting with your date of birth, parents' names, parents' occupations, where you were born, where you studied, where you grew up, all the addresses, and then your education details, post graduation details, job experience details, and there is a column called as hobbies and extracurriculars. So there you have to mention all the scholarships that you have won and all the leadership activities, sports, NSS details, and hobbies and interests. So this is the starting point for the interview. So most of the interview questions revolve around so-called DAF, detailed application form. So now the candidate, when this question is asked in the end, do you have anything to share with us? Some people thought, okay, so I had put my hobby as, so let us say cooking continental dishes, right? Example. So now there was not a single question on that particular hobby, right? So how people prepare is that for every hobby, for every detail they have put, every keyword, they prepare hundreds of questions. For that they prepare answers, right? And if they have put hobby as trekking, meditation, right, singing, dancing, it can be anything, or even the cooking continental dishes. So what they do is that they prepare questions on it. Now if there is not a single question in the interview, now the candidate thinks that I had prepared so much on how to cook continental dishes. Now the chairman was not at all interested, didn't ask questions. So let me share about my particular hobby. So some people frame this answer in such a way that, sir, I think you forgot to ask question on, you know, the continental dishes. So I'm passionate about these kind of dishes. I cook sushi from Japan, this and that. So whatever it is. So they talk about it. And when they come out, so they feel very happy that, they proudly, passionately talk about their hobby. And shockingly, so I have seen for such candidate, the marks varies from 120 to 160 out of 275. I gave the case of 140 something. If they have scored very well in mains, they are in the list. If they are not, haven't scored well, they are out of the list. Every single mark counts in this examination nowadays. So there is interesting observation I made. So mains plus interview marks 960, right? For 960 marks, there are 19 candidates. The marks is similar for everyone, for 19 candidates. So after rank 100, for every single mark, there are 10 to 20 candidates. So if you score 20 marks low in interview or 30 marks lower in interview, you are out of the list. So this brings me to the second most important aspect of evolving examination, that in addition to all the knowledge based on either curiosity and certainty, whatever you are learning, the focus must be given on development of your personality. If you ignore the personality part, right, you are not going to crack this examination. You might do hard work, you might repeatedly clear prelims, you might repeatedly go for interview, but if you don't work on the personality part, you are not going to crack this examination. The interview plays a pivotal, crucial role in the selection. Again, scoring low might get some other rank, but if you want to be in top 100, you have to score 190 plus in interview, right? Now, when I say you have to develop personality, what do I mean by that? What are the traits of a good personality? What are they testing in the interview? Can somebody just give me some pointers? Ideology, diplomatic way, okay? Honesty, good.
So from mains exam, they can determine how are his writing skills or knowledge. But since he's a public civil servant, he will be interacting with the people. They want to know whether a person is capable to interact with the people or his personality is fit for the service.
Good. So what are the qualities they are testing when they want to assess whether the personality sitting in front of me is suitable for the services, fit for the services? Is he or she going to face all the challenges that the civil services throws at them?
How his communication skills.
Clarity, okay. Responsiveness, okay. Quick
How
thinking.
How is able to communicate with large number of people.
Will he or she be able to communicate with large number of people? Okay. Confidence, good. Dressing sense, okay, good. Quick decision making, yeah. Yeah, they ask situation based questions. So even recently there is a famous question regarding this. I want someone to answer from the audience. So if you give me very good answer, I'll give you 500 rupees here itself. Seriously, right? So the question, you might have heard an incident in Jammu Kashmir. So where a person was tied to the jeep as a self-defense, as a human shield, right? And then he drove him because he wanted to escape from a violent mob, right? There was a violent mob which was attacking a defense personnel, right? To escape from there, what he did was he took one of them, he tied in front of the jeep, right? So and then he escaped from there because they wouldn't pelt stones to one of them, right? So the question was asked, like, what would you do in that situation? Is it morally right or wrong? Hmm? So what do you think? Was it a morally right thing to do? To tie a violent protester, maybe he may be having stones, to tie him in front of your jeep, drive away from the violent mob for self-defense. Was it right or wrong? It was wrong. Why do you think it was wrong?
He himself is a defense person, and his job is to secure people. And if he only takes someone amongst them or whatever, he should have acted with law.
So if he hadn't done that, he would have been killed. The mob would have killed him. Then what would you do?
Actually, it hasn't harmed anyone. It was a right decision at that point of time. If it isn't harming anyone.
So was there someone else with him or he alone?
Let us assume he was alone, maybe his driver, and then nobody was there, with them, no army, no security personnel. So how many of you think it was a right decision? Can you raise your hands? How many of you think it was a wrong decision? Some of you are not raising your hands. Some problem with hands? Neutral. Okay. So now in the interview, are they expecting you to say right or wrong? What do you think? What do you think? Somebody said diplomatic answers. You must take a stand. In UPSC interview, you must take a stand. It doesn't matter whether you want to say right or wrong. They're not judging you by that. But they are judging you by the conviction you have and the reasoning you can give. Right? You have more number of reasons to support your argument. You go with that argument. Don't worry whether it is right or wrong. Can you support? Most of the times, right action can be supported with more number of reasons. Right? So in that moment, you have to see, can you think of 4 or 5 strong reasons to support the argument that you have made, the stance you have taken. Now, some people also they say that the government is BJP, so we should not go against the government. Some questions. It is nothing like that. UPSC is unbiased, the body. The people sitting there are not government representatives. It's a constitutional body, autonomous, independent body. Their job is to select the best minds, the best personalities for the administration who has, he said, like clarity of thought, who have conviction in what they believe. And they have the courage to communicate that conviction without bias, right? Without fear. So these are the traits that are tested. So I will ask another simple question, right? I mean, this is nothing related to case. The question is something related to, the food security and, the exercise and all, right? So why should government promote fitness and exercise?
So one of the things government spends, like government has a major chunk to spend on the public health care, and if government is promoting and people are following it, then it reduces some amount of burden on government itself, so that government is able to reduce some of its economic benefit we can have.
Okay, good. One more point.
The quality of workforce can be improved in the country.
Okay.
A healthy society can lead to good development and economic growth.
Okay, good. So can somebody think the question was they have answered rightly. So why should government encourage people to do exercise, take care of the fitness, right? So now you rightly said the answer. He said that the government can spend less on the healthcare. So when the population is healthy, now that is the point you are given. How do you give better point to is that? Can you give evidence to that? Right? The point you have made is that correct. So for example, a government can save nearly $55 billion every year, right? If people can take care of their health of their heart or something. So there is a data. So now any argument you give, it should be followed by evidence, the fact. And this ability to think of an idea and supporting fact in interview starts from the way you prepare from the preliminary examination, right? Preliminary examination is your biggest opportunity to know each and every fact and example that is related to every part of the syllabus. So what people do is that they differentiate between prelims and mains. They think that I have to separately prepare for prelims and then separately prepare for mains examination. And if you see that, when you're preparing for civil services, the interview is totally forgotten. They think about interview personality test only after clearing the mains. So my suggestion, when you are studying in such a good college like college like RV college, use every opportunity. Every opportunity, it can be NCC, NSS, all the clubs you have, to develop your personality. You have to become so confident. You have to come out of your introvert attitude. You have to develop an attitude where you take initiative. The leadership skill is one of the most valued quality in interview, right? So that is where these case studies come. How they value in interview is that evaluate, there are four types of questions that are asked. One is purely factual question, like what is the current GDP of India in rupees, right? Or it can be like how much ton of food grains we have produced last year. It is a fact. The second level of question is opinion based question. For example, your state government, Karnataka government, has introduced 5 guarantees, right? Free bus ride for girls and women. What do you think about it? So the panel wants to know what do you think about freebies. They are giving you an example, right? So they want to test whether have you thought about this particular issue and have you made up your mind whether it is right decision, wrong decision, and if you are saying wrong decision, do you have valid arguments? The third level of question is, as I said, case study based questions. The case study is that they will put you in a role of maybe IAS officer, SP, defense personnel, or somebody, CEO or even CEO of a company. So based on the case studies that are happening, for example, recently in Punjab, there was one, Khalistan terrorist. I mean, I don't know if I use the word terrorist. So he escaped. He didn't escape. He was arrested, and there was a big violent mob that attacked the police station. Then they forced police station to release him, right? And after releasing, he escaped, and then he was caught later somewhere in Nepal, I think, right? So now there was a case study asked, if you were in charge of this police station, right, when you have violent mob coming for you, to get that person out of the jail, would you have released? Now what do you think is the right answer here? Was releasing correct? They would have burnt your police station, would have killed. So such incidents have taken place in India in the past, right? Along with the police personnel, they have burned police stations. They would have done that. What do you think? What you would have done?
Sir, at that
Released or not released?
he should be released at that moment because as a SHO or whatever post I'm holding, I have the responsibility of the juniors who are working under me. And even though like I can inform the other police person to take the help and arrest him later, but we can save the lives and public property and everything can be at a time. Some negotiations can take place and at the time he may be released and with some intelligent gathering information gathering he may be arrested later.
Good. So in fact, when this question I had asked for a candidate, right? In fact, I suggested him to say that the decision that was, they basically consulted DGP before releasing, right? And DGP said that yes, releasing. But before releasing, he told that we will use every kind of resources, every inch of resources that we have to nab him again later. But that was a smart move in that moment, right? So if the police station was burnt, if the police personnel were killed, can you imagine the law and order situation in the entire state of Punjab, right? It would have given upper hand to the protesters, right? So that it would have become more violent everywhere. So again, they have anybody from Punjab here, Punjab, Haryana? No one. So many of you said they were from not from Karnataka. Okay, so mostly like southern states. Anybody from Andhra, Telangana, Kerala, Tamil Nadu? Which state are you from? Yeah, I know. Uttar Pradesh? Yeah. Bihar? Good. Jharkhand? Good. Odisha? West Bengal? Delhi? Good. How many of you are on Twitter? Oh, very good. Do you follow me on Twitter? Some of you? No. So I'm there on Twitter. Like, I have 1,15,000 odd followers. I'm quite popular among civil services community. देखने के लिए ऐसे नहीं लगता हूँ, लेकिन मतलब बहुत शांत स्वभाव का काम I look. But on Twitter, I freely express my views about issues, especially related to civil services and also sometimes about other issues. At Vinay GB, you can search. So it's a very popular name on Twitter. I mean, among civil services, right? So you don't know that I may be like, standing and talking in front of you. Here, there are students who come from all parts of India just to have half an hour audience with me. So I'm very good with one-on-one interactions. So anything related to UPSC examination, we have built our institution such a way that everybody gets individual attention, this one-on-one guidance. We have something called mentorship program. In addition to classroom program, there is mentorship program. Everybody gets individual attention, and that is the reason we are getting very good results. So this year, on 18th, we are going to conduct felicitation for toppers, and Chief Minister of Karnataka is going to come to the function, and some of around 23 students from Karnataka have got the ranks. So 120 toppers from all parts of India are coming. So we got more than 200 ranks. Around 120 toppers are coming to Bangalore from every part of India. If somebody has visited my cabin, you can see the big photograph with all the toppers. The reason I'm telling is that, like earlier times, you don't have to go to Delhi, right? So every guidance, from prelims, yesterday prelims result came. Are you aware of it? You can just visit our institution. So many of them have cleared prelims, right? Especially from the recent programs, so many of them have cleared prelims, especially this difficult paper. I was so happy. You can meet some of them because they'll be writing mains. If somebody wants guidance, we can, make you meet people who have written mains, people who are eligible for mains. There are some toppers again repeating. So on Sunday, this Sunday, there was marriage of Indian Foreign Service officer. He is my student. His name is Santosh. He is basically from Ajjampura. I've made a video also, a rural area. And now he is posted in Argentina, right? So we made a video Ajjampura to Argentina. So I went to his marriage. So there are around 15, 16 previous UPSC toppers came. They are all in his friend circle. So I saw like 4 IPS probationers who have given prelims this year, and they are sitting and studying in our reading rooms, right? Similarly, there are IRS people. Out of 200 IPS who get selected, 95 to 100 people repeat again. And you know what is the success rate out of these 95 people who again make it into IAS? So what I'm basically talking is that when again examination is conducted, if there are 200 IPS probationers who have gone for training, nearly 100 out of these 200 again write the examination. And how many out of these 100 they are again writing means they want IAS. How many of these 100 get into IAS? Any guesses? How many? 60 to 70. It is less than 5. So last year it was 4 out of 95 people who wrote, actually most of them usually write mains, right? So only 4 improved their rank to IAS. That is the level of exam uncertainty. The good news on the other side is that more freshers are getting good ranks. Like, young and dynamic people like you. So who are bringing a fresh kind of energy, fresh kind of thinking, right? To the examination, they are actually valued more. They are actually given more chances. The present thinking is like this, bring more youth into the administration, right? So you don't have to go to Delhi. So so I'm not here to promote my institution basically. Anyway, it is promoted by sponsoring, title and all. The truth I'm telling is that Last year, All India rank 31. He is from National Law School. You know that National Law School is the best law school in India. That is there in Bangalore. So Avinash, he is from Davangere. He got All India rank 31 in his very first attempt. His senior Jaydev, so he also got All India rank 5. He had enrolled for our offline guidance program OGP, and then Avinash, because his senior got All India rank 5, he also came and he also joined Insights IS. They had all the money, all the resources to go to Delhi and spend entire 1 or 2 years. But they trusted me, our team, our process, and he came. So he got All India rank 31. If he had scored 290 in his law optional, he would have got rank 2. So he didn't study law at all because he had done well law in his law days, graduation days. He scored around 259, right? So, but I was predicting his rank. He will get top 5. And in 2016, All India rank 1 Nandini KR. So I personally guided her. At that time, we didn't have a big team and big institution. So I used to have a small setup where I used to take 40 to 50 students and individually guide people. So she got All India rank. So it is Insights IAS which gave Karnataka its first rank after 20 years. Right. And to get such kind of result as a mentor, as a teacher, as a head of institution, what do I seek? The result is not because of our institution, the result is mostly because of the quality of students we get. If I get more brilliant students from RV College, if I get more brilliant students from National Law School, it is easy to guide them. And they don't come prepared, right? So they don't know what to do. They have the minds which can be cultivated, a mind which can be developed, what is required for the examination. Because of the rigorous, so I have heard, one of my niece is studying here in civil engineering. So I have heard like the course is intense even in civil engineering, right? I mean, she doesn't come to any functions most of the time because you have internals where the questions are not predictable, right? That is why I don't know how much of it is truth. They say that the questions they give are not predictable. So they are applied in nature and this and that. She says it. So that is precisely what is required for civil services. Somebody who has gone through rigorous, academic activity, whose personality is developed because they are exposed to so many activities that happen in the campus. See, if you get opportunity to participate, go out of the campus, any kind of activities, don't miss any one of them. Every single opportunity you will miss once you graduate. You will never get these kind of opportunities. In coaching institution, I cannot conduct all these, activities, right? You have to go through this process. Shockingly, some people who are not aware, they take wrong decisions. So I recently met 3 students. They had scored 94%, 95 and 97% in PU. And they saw the advertisement that an institution had come up with integrated coaching, that is BA plus Bachelor of Arts plus IAS coaching. So they promised that we will wake you up at 5 o'clock, 1 hour meditation, and then you will do coaching. We will bring people to conduct coaching classes, and then you will do BA related classes. And then in the evening again you will memorize everything, right? And then once in a month you will write the test. So they promised 200 students join such kind of classes, and then eventually they were not able to give quality coaching, neither quality. It is not possible for someone to every day from morning 5 to midnight 12 sit and study books, and that is not advisable also. So eventually what happened, that model failed, and out of 200 only 2 or 3 people remained. They were not able to provide quality. So these students had paid like huge fees, like around 3 lakhs, right? And they came crying saying that that institution is closed, give admission in your institutions. So if you ever come across any students, maybe in your relations or wherever, first encourage them to join the best college available. And luckily, fortunately, you people have actually chosen. So undoubtedly, RV College is the top engineering college in Karnataka. I don't know with comparison to NIT Surathkal, I don't know. But this is the best college, and going by its reputation, every year I see that most of the RV student, followed by NIT, more than NIT, followed by PES, and then BMS and MS Ramai, we get huge number of ranks. The reason is these people had used their campus life to the best of their abilities to develop themselves. And once they come to the coaching, it is easy to nudge them. It is easy to push them because they have the tenacity, they have the perseverance. So they can study long hours, they are smart, they listen to the people, they know that they value guidance. I'll tell you the difference. I went to IIT Delhi. I was invited in IIT Delhi as part of the same. They were going. There was a fest, and I was invited to give a talk. There was Kiran Bedi and then Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore. Mine was the next talk. So I thought it is a very big institution. After listening to Kiran Bedi, Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore, why will people sit and listen to me like somebody coaching wala? So we are like coaching institution people. Why would listen? Surprisingly, even though it was around 7:30 p.m., right, the auditorium was not full, but it was like around 100 students were sitting. And I asked the similar question: are you sitting by force or voluntarily? I'm really surprised. They said that they are sitting by choice because we know about you, about your institution, and we value your guidance, something. And it was a very pleasant experience. The talk was, they gave me only 45 minutes, but it went on for more than 1 hour. So they were willing to listen. So why they were willing to listen is that, so this kind of academic exposure helps you know the value of education, you know the value of guidance, and you people listen. When it is a two-way process, so we give you guidance, you take it seriously and start implementing it, the result is possible sooner. Like in first attempt, second attempt, you can go on to crack the examination. Last year there was a guy like from RV college, so he's from computer science, I think his name is Deepak Shet. So he got IAS, now he is posted in Uttarakhand. Like 4 years he was preparing, it was his fifth attempt, I think. So 4 years he was trying to do by himself, all the trial and error. And he was failing at the interview stage and also scoring less in essay, I think. So in his final attempt, where after spending 5 years, it is nearly like, 5 attempts, it is something 6 to 7 years, right? You won't get any job in private sector after your graduation when you have 6 to 7 year gap. Somebody told him that, go to Vinay sir, so he will help you with interview. So he was scoring low marks in the interview and getting eliminated. So I took around 7 to 8 mock interviews, identify exact problems, and then, guided him properly. So he ended up scoring 187 from previously around 150 odd marks. So he got somewhere around 300 to 400 range, and in EWS category he got IAS. And there is similar case, Yatish, he got Karnataka IAS. He is also from computer science. So his score was around 150 and then he scored around 197. I helped him in interview and essay part. So the reason I'm telling is that, so when we get lots of admissions in our institutions, if there are 100 admissions, it is only 4 to 5 people who actually make use of the experience, guidance, resources, the platform that is available to them, right? So that mistake, I don't know why people commit that mistake, is that because of the academic. So they are never prepared during their college days to sit for long hours and study in the coaching institution when they join the coaching, right? So that is why, when you are in the college, those who are in the first year, enjoy your college life, campus life, participate in every activity. Don't think it is a distraction. It can be fashion show. For example, this year there is one girl, she put modeling as her hobby and she got 198 marks in the interview, right? Modeling as her hobby. So there is no, some people say it is taboo, like, modeling and IAS, it has nothing to do. It is nothing like that. The UPSC panel is so broad, they see it also, this also as tool of empowerment, it's a form of empowerment. So try to participate in every activity. I assume everyone sitting here is for UPSC Civil Services. If you are not making use of anything, you are going to commit a great mistake. Second thing is that you must develop hobby of reading newspapers. Hard copy, the Hindu newspaper. If you really want to be in UPSC, without reading newspaper, without having the habit of reading newspaper, it is again impossible to crack the examination. Shockingly again, after joining coaching, people start reading newspapers. Some people come, I do counseling with parents. They say that, so I asked them the question like, since when you are dreaming about civil services? They say since childhood. And then when I ask, okay, are you reading you must be reading the Hindu. So no, sir, I'm yet to start reading newspapers. It is shocking because people have dream in their mind that they want to become IAS, but they don't know the demand of the examination. The demand of the examination is that you must have deep and diverse understanding of the every socio-economic or cultural political issues that are happening around you. That is the very first syllabus in the preliminary examination. Current affairs of national and international importance. If those who are in the first year, if you start reading newspaper from now, you are completing 80% of your coaching. You don't have to join the coaching institution. I mean it. Every day, if you read newspaper 1 to 2 hours religiously, my recommendation is the Hindu and the Indian Express that is published in the Delhi, not the southern version. The Delhi edition of the Indian Express. So that is physical copy is not available here. You can download the e-paper. But if you're really serious about this examination, in the beginning read end to end, each and everything that is there in the paper. Develop interest in reading about news. It can be political, sports, movie related, cultural, right? But once you have become familiar with the syllabus, then you can filter out. Only syllabus related articles you can start reading. Reading and thinking about editorials is must. Again, I'll keep using the word shockingly. What people do is that people cannot understand editorials once they have joined the coaching because they don't have the reading habit. They start watching YouTube videos where some institution simplifies the editorial, they extract some important facts and they give it as a ready-made content which can be easily digested. And the exam is demanding you to think on your own, right? So sorry, I forgot the fourth type of question earlier when I was talking about interview. So the third one was the situation. The fourth was you should know the latest developments, the new thinking that is related to your job experience, your optional subject, and your academic background or any interest that you have written in the DAF. So new development, knowing the new thinking in any discipline, how do you develop it? By reading newspapers, right? So if possible, I suggest you to read more than one newspaper. One, the Hindu, and another one, either Economic Times or Live Mint or Business Standard. See, be ambitious here. So there is no limit to knowledge. You should have hunger for knowledge. The more hunger for knowledge, the more curious you are, the more, because you have more time to do all these things. I wouldn't recommend the same to somebody who has joined coaching now. They don't have that much time, but it is advisable. The second aspect of improving your thinking ability is that read fiction and non-fiction books from now itself. Reading especially non-fiction books. You might have heard about Yuval Noah Harari, Sapiens book, Homo Deus, 21st Lessons for 21st Century. Right. So these are very popular books nowadays, where most of the people quote them in. And there is William Dalrymple, you might have heard. He has written a book like Mughals, Anarchy, right? And then Shashi Tharoor, he has written books, India After Gandhi, India Since Gandhi, India Before Gandhi, I don't know. So, Nationalists of India. He has written many books. And there are so many good authors and there are so many podcasts also available nowadays, right? Develop interest in 3 to 4 key disciplines. Something maybe related to syllabus, beyond syllabus. For example, artificial intelligence is not mentioned in the syllabus, but one can actually develop deep interest even if you are not a computer science student, right? So read non-fiction related to that. So the post-COVID, we came to realize that so many disciplines come together to solve a problem, right? The more knowledge you have about in different disciplines, the easy it becomes to crack this examination, right? So prelims, if you want to score 120, you must have diverse knowledge about the syllabus and something related to syllabus beyond the syllabus. Similarly in mains also, it covers from art and culture to the ethics part, everything, right? So by reading non-fiction books, what you are going to do is that, I told you 901 is the highest marks in the mains, right? And the next highest is somewhere around 870, and then 850, 840, 830, and then less than 800. So now she has scored somewhere 80 to 90 marks above all other competitors in the list in mains. Now that is possible only when you have put extra effort to gain extra knowledge. And if you have the ability to show that extra knowledge in your answers in the best presentation possible, right? So in anybody who writes answer, the best content followed by good structuring and good presentation, if these three elements are there, they get 900 plus, or let's say 850 plus marks. So that is what we are going to guide those who are writing mains now, right? After now people are, yesterday result came, so they are preparing for mains. They have around 90 odd days, so they have to work on these three areas. Now those who are already pursuing graduation, if you start from now itself, the amount of knowledge you can build is tremendous, right? So don't ignore, just because your course is hectic, even if you give 1 hour or 2 hour every day, at least 20 books in a year. You can read 20 books in a year, even if you give only half an hour every day. And imagine, like, based on which year of graduation you are in, you can have a target of 60 to 70 books. Choose them from different, on climate change, on artificial intelligence, development economics, right? Democracy, development. It can be any broad area. So if you develop this interest, your interview becomes predictable. I'll give you another RV example. He had done instrumentation engineering, right? So he's in IPS in West Bengal. So he had scored low marks in the interview, 2 interviews. So because of the DAF, the way he had put not so interesting things, right? So next year, so he came from the railways background. His father was working in railways. So he had deep interest in railways, deep knowledge about railways. I said, start blogging about railways. So one interest was blogging about railways. So he came from instrumentation engineering. So about biomedical devices, he had some kind of interest. He had made a project and all. I asked him to write knowing developments in biomedical devices. The third one was, he was into sharing and what is that? Stock activity, participating in stock market. So I told him, anyway, you have deep knowledge in economics, right? Reading about economics and participating in share market, something like that. So 4 members picked each of these topics in the interview. And anyway, he had good knowledge. He was able to do well. He got 198. His name is Srinivas MP, right? So he went on to get rank somewhere around 255, I think. So he got IPS, rank 225, I guess. He got IPS and is in West Bengal. So instead of doing it after you writing mains, if you can decide now itself which hobbies, interest you want to put and develop them deeply, all the 3 process becomes predictable despite exam being unpredictable, and you can go on to crack this examination within 1 attempt. Slightly going advanced, I said newspaper reading, reading fiction, non-fiction books. The third hobby, if you can develop, it becomes even more easy, that is writing and blogging. Now WordPress offers free blogspot. You can use social media also, like Twitter. If you subscribe, you can write entire essay in your tweet also nowadays, right? Anybody who has strong writing habit. Now you know what is the highest mark scored in essay paper out of 250? 149 is the highest mark this year. 130 plus is very good score. 149 out of 250 is the highest marks in essay. So 4-5 years ago, they used to give 175, 180 also. Suddenly what happened? Because people started, mugging up facts for essay topics. They changed the nature of essay topics. So for example, there was one essay topic last year. Forests offer best case studies for economic excellence. Forests offer or provide best case studies for economic excellence. There was another topic, poets are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. Poets are the unacknowledged or unelected legislators of the world. There was another topic, the best time to repair your roof is when the sun is shining. The best time to repair your roof is when the sun is shining. The ship is safe in harbor, but it is not meant to be, right, to stay in harbor. You got it, right? The ship is safe in harbor, but it is not built to stay in harbor. So now, for these kind of essay topics, all your GS knowledge will not help. Right? Your history, economy, geography. People who haven't done any extra reading, every Sunday the Hindu paper releases a supplement called as magazine. Have you come across? A magazine is a supplementary on Sundays. Not a single UPSC aspirant reads it because it doesn't have current events. It doesn't talk about where Prime Minister went, what he inaugurated, right? What happened in any part of the state. So what that magazine gives is that there is an essay about some cultural event or something. There is a travelogue, right? Review of books, the latest books that are written. If you can read this Sunday magazine from now itself, you can write excellent essay for these topics, right? In addition to that, as I said, writing, if you develop the writing hobby, maybe through blogging, maybe through journaling, maybe through tweeting, you will go on to score the highest marks in the essay, right? Coupled with extra reading. So the early, what you need to start is not the coaching. I won't recommend anyone to join coaching in their first and second year. The ideal time is to join maybe third year. Once you have started reading newspapers and started reading extra books, participated in all the campus life, third year you can join. Fourth year you can do only answer writing practice. There is something called mains test series, right? Third year coaching, fourth year answer writing practice. By the time you graduate, you are fully ready for the examination. In one attempt, you can crack. And if you have decided to pursue civil services, you give only 2 years after your graduation. Not more than that. One attempt, 2 years, and then move on with your life. Maybe you can join, maybe you can go for higher education, or you can join a job. If you still love UPSC, you can continue to pursue it, but with higher education or a job. But don't ever give more than 2 years for the examination after your graduation. Another plan B, you can work for 1 or 2 years, right? And if you are not seduced or attracted by all the money you get and get deviated in your dream, right? You can come back to UPSC, but it is very unlikely in India. Once after your graduation, if you get a job, your parents will never allow you to leave the job. In most cases, I have seen it. Some people take risk, after 4 or 5 years, because this calling is still strong that I want to do UPSC, right? And they leave job after 6-7 years. They come back in the, when they are 27, 28, and it's very difficult by that time, right? The exam has evolved, it has become more dynamic. So it's a very risky thing to do at that time. Nowadays, I don't suggest. So if you get very good company, get into that, work for 1 or 2 years, get good savings, come back. Or if you want to crack this examination at the age of 21, 22, then do as I said. So start from now, third year coaching, fourth year answer writing practice, and then crack the examination in one attempt. So all it takes to crack this examination is having a strong personality first. That is the first requirement. You have to be so strong. You have to have the strength to endure. I have seen people from IITs who are part of our institutions, they literally slip into depression when they see low scores in our mock tests. In mock tests, when they suddenly see low scores, they they literally slip into depression. I mean, I shouldn't be saying that. I mean, they worry so much. The reason is that they are used to scoring high marks, right? High CGPA in every exam they have given from school days. They have never failed in school. I don't think anybody sitting here has ever failed in school exam. Never, right? 11, 12, everyone has scored 90 plus, 95 plus. How many of you scored 90 plus percent in plus 2? See, almost entire, right? And you know that the UPSC highest is 52 in mains. IIT doesn't guarantee, right? You cannot. And in prelims, 88. Even not even how much it is out of 200. Somewhere around 45%, right? And people are struggling to score. And CSAT, the difficulty level has increased so much. Now it is compared with the CAT paper. The Civil Services Aptitude is compared to CAT paper nowadays. I mean the recent CSAT paper. People who used to boast, I have great aptitude, good aptitude, I can solve any problem. They would get 120, 130 in mock tests. But in the real CSAT examination, their scores have dipped to 70 to 80. So one IIT Madras guy who has cleared prelims, immediately after the exam he came, I used to tell him, take CSAT seriously. It is going to get really tough in coming days. So he did. To be fair to him, he solved mocks, but he should have taken it even more seriously, as I was telling. So he ended up scoring 72, according to Insights IAS key. And according to another institution key, he was getting 58. Thus, keys vary, depending on the institutions. So I told him, if you are getting 70 plus, you will definitely clear. So, but he said, I am getting 58 also. I never expected that in CSAT paper, where I was scoring 130 plus, I would score somewhere around 60, 70. I never expected, even in my wildest dream. That's what he said. So, you people have to take CSAT paper also seriously, right? Like sit in for campus exams or whatever exams you are eligible. So give all the exam wherever objective questions which test aptitude are part of the examination. So develop your mathematical skills, comprehension skills. This comprehension skill is the poorest, where people are not exposed to reading English literature, English newspapers. If you read editorials from now on, so there are around 35 to 40 comprehension questions, you can get all of them right. And you can easily cross the 66.6 marks required to be eligible for, mains, your GS paper one will be evaluated. So this is broadly the, the crux of the, how the examination is conducted, what is the expectation, how you can go about it. So if you have any questions related to any part of the examination, you can ask. You can sit and ask, it's okay.
So I have two questions for you. First question would be, so most of the times we think that, we keep trying, we keep attempting the exam year by year, but considering the nature of the exam and also the financial stability of the candidates preparing for the exam, by not having a job or like full-time preparing for the exam. So how important is it to have plan B in action?
Yeah. So his question is that how important it is to have plan B. So as I already mentioned, it is very important to have plan B right now, right? So for example, like let us say you are pursuing civil engineering. So I would recommend you to give all government related examinations, right? Or you should have in your mind another dream of higher education or higher thinking also. For example, what do I mean by is that I have seen some people quitting after one or two attempts, getting into Harvard or some people into Stanford, some Caltech, California Technology, right? And IIT Delhi also offers some courses. So they have this plan B that I would pursue higher education, and they are in a better position than in IAS after getting education from these world-class top institutions. So right now when you want to pursue, you, as I said, give one attempt, have a plan B. It can be, I So I recommend people to think big, right? So I was hearing from your you know what is his name, the one I met. Hmm? Yeah, Major. So he was telling, I know, I'm not sure, like how many, very few people from RV get into higher education. I mean, they go to foreign countries. Is it right? He was saying that most of them get into jobs rather than going for MS into big universities compared to other colleges. That is why the ranking is not great. So my suggestion is plan B should be either higher education or a job, right? Not right now, but back of your mind. After one or two attempt, you must get into plan B. Okay. Second question.
The second question would be regarding the consistency, sir. So I strongly believe that consistency is the one in anything for that matter, the curiosity of the knowledge or maintaining the academics with the exam preparation days. So how can we take this further?
So the second question is about consistency. How many of you are consistent in your studies, in your scores, in your attitude, in your belief, in your thinking? It's very difficult to be consistent, right? So one of the traits, quality. So boys. So one of the quality that is required to crack this examination is consistency. Now what happens? Most of the students have the habit of reading just before the examination, like maybe whole day, 8 hours, 12 hours. Now this examination requires you to do it every day during the coaching time or during your preparation time. So I recommend 10 to 12 hours minimum every day for 1 year if you want to crack it in one attempt. So now to be consistent like that, so what is more important is having a long-term plan, which is usually offered by coaching institutions, right? Second one is being accountable to someone. You have to be accountable to someone on weekly basis. So you have to come meet your mentor, or it can be anyone whom you think is more experienced. So by being accountable to someone, you can be more consistent. The third factor is that internal motivation. No amount of YouTube videos, no amount of TED Talks, external motivation will never work. If you are reading self-help book one after another, that itself is the sign of inconsistency. Right? I mean, reading self-help book itself is not recommended if you want to rely on internal motivation. So internal motivation, from where does it come? From having the ambition and higher purpose. Right? You should not settle for lesser thing in your life. When you have an opportunity, think big and try to achieve big. So having that constant craving for desire to achieve big will keep waking you up, help you bounce back whenever you feel low. Okay.
I have two questions. So, firstly,
No,
it's regarding.
take it. Others can listen.
So, I have two questions. So, first one is regarding the answer writing. Like, I had written one sleep essay for the national level competition where I got first place.
Very good.
But the same views and notions when I used it for the state level competition, I didn't even get them. So,
Okay.
like, on what basis UPSC evaluates your paper and names? Like, it's very hard to guess. Is it the handwriting or the structuring? Or, like, it's very hard to depict what is there in the evaluator's mind.
What was the topic you wrote for national level?
So, it was regarding election.
Okay.
Sweep.
State level?
So, the same thing. I mean, it was also sweep,
Mm-hmm.
but like the election regarding that one, electoral.
Okay. So our question, did you all of you hear? Are you interested in this question? So our question is that when she wrote an essay for national level competition, she got first prize. When she wrote the same essay for state level competition, she didn't get any prize. So now what is the expectation of UPSC when you write an answer or essay, right? So in essay, there are few elements they expect in UPSC. One is your analytical thinking, right? How much analytical thinking you possess. So what is analytical thinking?
How vividly we can think on same thing, negative, positive.
Yeah, vividly and also deeply, in a way that you have to do close examination of every aspect related to that particular topic. And then second part is critical thinking. The critical thinking is the positive negative. Critical thinking is looking at the both sides of the argument, ability to make an argument and then come up with counter argument and then trying to negate the counter argument, right? So analytical thinking, critical thinking. Third one is the coherence. Are you able to write an essay in such a way that our reader is not bored and then they can get the idea of what you are writing in one go itself without creating parts and multiple segments. That coherence is very important. The fourth is definitely handwriting and presentation. It also plays a very important role. The fifth element, most important, is the depth of your argument. It should be deep and it should not be obvious. In UPSC, when most of the people write answers and essays, what they do is that they write similar examples for most of the topics. When they write similar examples, similar arguments, mostly because of the same source which they are following. It can be coaching or a website. No extra reading. So if you have done extra reading, bring your example from non-GS sources and then you will get very good marks. If you have written, you can bring it for evaluation. So I usually sit in my cabin and evaluate essays and answers. Those who bring, doesn't matter whether you have enrolled or not.
Sure. One more question is regarding this Yojana and Kurukshetra matters, which was typically being told by others, like in village.
Read them.
So, but recently we don't see that trend. Those questions.
No, that is the problem. No, coaching institutions started giving ready-made content. Even Yojana, Kurukshetra, summary and all. So better to read them. The more you read, in addition to Yojana, Kurukshetra, my recommendation, Down to Earth magazine. Down to Earth, and then the India Today magazine, Week magazine. Don't read it for the examination. Just read it for the general awareness.
Good afternoon, sir. I do follow your podcast and I do follow secure initiatives sometimes as well.
Very good.
My question is two parts. The first one, you told that you don't recommend the selection of mechanical engineering or civil engineering as optional. Why is that? And my second question is, you told that you start the preparation from third year. How can we start that?
Okay. So earlier I said that I don't recommend civil engineering, mechanical engineering. Now, so I hope all of you are serious and understanding, because we are getting into technical stuff now, right? Now, in mains examination, optional examination is conducted for 500 marks. You have two papers, 250 plus 250. Now, what is the highest marks one can score in optional as of today? Any idea? Somewhere around 310. 310 to 315 is the highest marks one can score in the optional subject. Now the rank one has scored somewhere around 317, I think, in political science this year. She would have put maybe like 6 to 7 months of efforts, right? The coaching usually takes place 3 to 4 months, and then to make notes and revise another like 3-4 months. Now when you go for mechanical civil engineering, right, the subjects are too technical, too taxing, too demanding, in the sense that every day you need to practice the problems, right? You cannot leave a gap of like 2 to 3 months, and it takes lots of time. If you are already well versed with mechanical engineering during your graduation days, and if you are familiar with syllabus, if you have covered everything, then choose mechanical engineering. Secondly, if you are already well versed with the GS topics, like reading newspaper and reading extra books, if you have that general awareness, strong general awareness, then go for mechanics, GS and optional preparation. Otherwise, if you lack GS awareness, general studies awareness, and if you haven't done your graduation subject really well during graduation days, I strictly advise against taking those optionals, including mathematics, right? You are not going to score out of 500, 300 plus. There is something called standardization, scaling. Even if you have attempted 450 marks correct out of 500, you can still not score above 300 because of the standardization. How they do, nobody knows. So this has become a big headache. So my suggestion is go for humanity subjects, be smart, complete it in 3-4 months. Even in worst case, if you score 240, 250, you can still get IAS. How? Like mains examination, if you score 850, right? In interview, if you score 150, you're still IAS. And out of 850, if you can score 600 from general studies and essay papers, right? And only 240 or 250 in optional, even then you can get IAS. You got it? So it is better to be wise and smart rather than only if you are preparing for GATE and masters, then maybe you can think of it. But my suggestion, strictly for IAS, civil services, don't go with those optionals. So second question was
How to start preparing from third year?
third year. So how to start? See, start from newspaper. I mean, that is basic thing. Enroll for classes. It prepare, like for example, in 10 months, every aspect of the syllabus we give you knowledge, content, classroom notes and everything. So why I recommend classes is that I usually don't recommend coaching, right, per se. Those who already have the reading habit, newspaper and extra reading habit, curious about general knowledge, I don't recommend them. But the coaching is required much more than for the knowledge alone. You will get a long-term, systemic, disciplined approach to preparation. And in our institution, there is a mentorship. Every Sunday, there is a mains and prelim test. Whatever you read in a week, whatever classes you listen in a week, can be tested every week. And because your college is located near to our institution, once or twice in a week you can come to us, show all the answers and essays that you have written, get them evaluated. And in 1 year, if you can complete the foundation course, the next year it is all about self-study, more answer writing, more essay writing through mains test series, and that will thoroughly prepare you, right? So by part, if I have to ask, you can complete GS plus first in third year. Beginning of fourth year, you go for optional. Don't enroll for both optional and GS in third year. You won't get time for everything, right?
How to prepare by choosing Kannada medium?
Who asked this? Okay.
Kannada medium.
So how many of you are here from Kannada medium? Okay. Kannada medium is like 10th or 12th, alwa? Okay. So for Kannada medium people, like I have to be straightforward here, right? Now UPSC is biased in a way that there are no Kannada questions in prelims, only in Hindi and English. About it also I have tweeted that questions must be introduced in all the Indian languages, because those who are coming from Kannada medium, exposed to only Kannada throughout their school days, college days, it's difficult to solve the comprehension questions and even understand aptitude questions. If you're serious about civil service examination, there is no other alternative. You have to learn English, right? So if you're in first year, start reading newspaper, The Hindu, seriously. And there are people who speak in English here, right? Make a friend. I don't think anyone will laugh if you speak bad English in the beginning. So people have this, we have English medium schools where people do not speak English. All of us have come from those schools, right? Maybe except in Bangalore colleges. So non-Bangalore colleges, English medium schools, speaking is all in Kannada, right? So, but learning to speak in English is very important. Make friends with people who can speak English. No girlfriend, only, right? I mean, just joking here. Even if your parents tell, even if I tell, everyone will make pairs here, I know it. So for you, my suggestion is that make a friend who can speak fluently in English and who can encourage you to speak in English, even when you speak wrongly, right? Third one is, try to read all the NCERT textbooks now itself, right? So start from which standard? So you can start from 6th standard only. See, 4th standard it is like one off question, right? Start from 6th standard. Complete all the NCERT. They have English language of highest standard, and also you can read English NCERT textbooks also, to just to get your basic English right. So that is what, how to start means your primary source must be English medium. From English to, you have to translate it into Kannada medium. But if you use your graduation effectively, you can actually go on to write in English medium, right? So my personal suggestion, if you are in first year, second year, those who write Kannada medium, learn English and write in English medium, right? Not a single soul has got rank this year by writing in Kannada medium. It is becoming very difficult, right? We will fight for it in coming days, to reform the examination. But in present scheme of things, you must learn English.
Or to select scoring optional subjects. Scoring optional subjects.
See, if you love Kannada, Kannada literature is good. So 286 is the highest score in Kannada literature. The minimum you can get is 230, 240. All you need to remember is stories and poems, and it is very good. Kannada tagondre easy agutte.
Is there someone else who wants?
I really appreciate your patience and the quality of your questions. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Sir, I want to ask, there are two to three optional subjects which are scoring according to me, sir. Like there is PSIR, and the second one is Hindi Sahitya, and third one is Civil Engineering. Out of these three, we should be selected to score maximum marks, sir.
Please sit down. Yes. My suggestion is political science. Right. Sit down. Sit down. It's okay. So why political science is that the availability of resources, guidance, and also its applicability. In essay paper, GS papers, even in interview, IR questions are definitely asked, right? So Hindi literature, nowadays you are not getting very good ranks in Hindi literature, and civil engineering, I told you the cons of it. So better to go with PSIR. The numbers might look more. So now around nearly 2,500 to 3,000 people out for PSIR, right? But ultimately it depends. The marks are not getting reduced. They are not punishing per se. Like what do I mean is that there was a time when nearly 50% of the students were taking public administration. They started punishing so harshly. Now the number of people who take public administration has reduced to some 200, 300. There are only 1 or 2 people in top 100 with public administration now, right? So similar punishment is not given to PSIR. It has been a stable optional along with sociology and anthropology. So these three I personally recommend.
And sir, how to bring the highest quality in my behavior? What should I do for that? Like from these days, from the first year, sir. As
Yeah.
you told, sir, examination or reading or studying will not make me an IAS.
Correct.
So, sir, how to bring those things in my habits?
Are you part of NSS?
No, sir.
No.
I'm in the club, sir, but I'm inactive little bit.
No, be very active. How many of you are like that? You are in the club, but you are just in the club, not doing anything for the club. See, you have to take part. So the behavior is not the right word. Attitude is the right word. So to improve your attitude, to become a better person, we are all good people, right? At the end of the day, it is just that we come from various disadvantages. Some not so good English background, some not so good colleges and schools, which didn't give any opportunity to participate in any event. To become best personality, always one, as I said, take part in each and every activity and try to be a leader in it, even when people laugh at you, right? Second one is that be open to criticism, right? Both self-criticism and external criticism. Third one, keep thinking about the poor people around you, right? Like you want to serve, right? You cannot. Earlier you said that we cannot just sit and complain. So that doesn't help anyone. So those who really have internal motivation to serve the society, by default, they will have good behavior. On Twitter, we see nowadays, right? You post something, suddenly you see an army coming against you, right? Earlier bots, now paid people, IT cell you call. So they send them, and they try to they demoralize you, bring you down. These are real humans who are actually doing it. And unfortunately, there are leaders who also do it. Heads of IT cells, and we have seen these things. So I don't think they have human qualities. So don't be a troll in real life. Encourage others when don't laugh at anyone, at anyone's weakness or mistakes or anything. Encourage. We all make mistakes, and in Kannada there is a song, right? Ardakke course bitone basu. Right? Somebody who may not be studying well, but very active in all the campus activities, right? He is the one who will go on to become the boss. True. I'll give you an example. So I used to be like I studied from Navodaya school, Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, class 6 to 12th, Chitradurga Navodaya school, and I went from very poor background from a village in Davangere. So no English, nothing, pure Kannada medium. It took till class 9th to understand what they were teaching in English and all. So till then English medium people were given preference. School leader, sport leader, class leader, hostel leader, all English medium people. And especially within them those who are good looking, handsome, those who could speak really well, those kind of people. By the time we arrived at 9th, I took it as a challenge. There was one English medium guy who used to read Enid Blyton novels, at that time, the big novels and all. So I used to take it as a challenge and try to read English. I was fond of reading Kannada, but English I would never understand. But I persisted, and then I would see in Current Affair magazine who used to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. Fortunately, our librarian used to buy those books and keep in library. I still remember there is a book called Tin Drum. Tin Drum, I think in 99 it won the Gunter Grass is the author, German author, Tin Drum. So it won the Nobel Literature Prize in 99, I think. So I took that book, I tried to read it for 1 month, even though I didn't understand. But finally, with the help of dictionary, I understood. After 10th, our time has arrived, the time of the Kannada medium people. Right? Started participating in every activity. In 11th standard, I was made the school leader. Right? Sports leader. And 12th also, school captain. So which means I never had time to study, participate in sports, and participate in all the kind of activities. But that prepared me for the life. That prepared me for the life where when I failed UPSC, when I failed all other examinations, so I was able to bounce back from it and build the institution because of the independent thinking and the freedom we enjoyed in the school. So that is what I'm trying to emphasize. So you develop your personality, you will be ready for anything. And then we had 27 people in 12th, all PCMB combination. Except me, I joined BSc Genetics because that was in 2002, I did my 12th. In 2001, Human Genome Project happened, and our biology teacher was passionate about Human Genome Project. He said that genetics is the future. It will rule the world. Right? I scored 86% in PCMB and got medical CET. I didn't write engineering. I hated mathematics. Till age 31, I used to get nightmares about physics and maths. No, I would wake up, in the middle of a sleep, and then come to the real world. Now I have completed graduation, and then go back to the sleep. That was a nightmare. So I got medical seat in second round, but our biology teacher told that genetics is the future. You can create designer babies in 10 years, right? You can do anything with genetics, become genetic engineering. Stupidly, same year somebody started genetics on college. I went and joined the BSc Genetics, right? People laughed, like, even I laughed at myself. There was nothing genetics there. We were doing, Drosophila melanogaster, dissecting it and doing something, trying to find its DNA and all. And by the end of the BSc, nothing, no opportunities. I used to visit IASC campus, listen to all the Nobel laureates used to come and, spend time like this. Somewhere all these things helped. So after that, I started preparing for the UPSC. I got MSc in Bangalore, I dropped it. By then, all my classmates had become doctors. Three of them actually studied from RV College, Computer Science. They got into Cisco, they got into big companies. They were earning in lakhs and all, me nothing. So stuck in the UPSC preparation for 5 to 6 years. Then I started this particular insights. At the age of 33, my monthly income was equal to the annual salary of all 26 classmates. My monthly income. My monthly income at the age of 33 was equal to the annual combined salary of all 26 people. We get together now also, Makala Nagar Yoga. And whenever I go to foreign, I bring the best brand of alcohol and give them. Macallan, you might have heard, I don't drink. Macallan is the top brand. Recently, I gifted to all my medical friends. Avaga very old man kuditidri. Have it now, right? So you never know. I mean, why I told is this. What helped me become like this is not education per se, the school and college education. It is what I did outside the classroom, right? So use the platform. You said how to become better person. So use the platform available. I keep saying this because the same opportunities are not available in all the colleges. You will regret it later if you don't enjoy campus life.
Sir, if one has the opportunity, is it beneficial to study in Delhi over Bangalore when it comes to UPSC?
See, the problem why people want to go to Delhi is that they think that they get that kind of ecosystem environment, competitive environment. If you come to Chandra layout, you have the similar environment, right? You get the best of the guidance, you get the best of the test series. Even if you want to join Vision IS, for example, so you can write in Bangalore only, right? When it comes to evaluation and personal guidance, quality of coaching and everything, we are far better than what is there in Delhi. I can say it with all the honesty, and you can come and many students from RV have actually joined the classes. Civil engineering, mechanical, one or two from computer science. You can talk to them, right? So people after writing 2 to 3 attempts go to Delhi nowadays. They think that Bangalore, so it has become saturated, a place of change I want, and that is why they go. But I personally don't recommend. One, the cost is prohibitive. The coaching cost itself is 2.5 lakhs. Second, living cost minimum 20 to 25,000 per month. If you are really rich and if you have money, then go for it. Second reason, the climate, right? It is very harsh in Delhi. So the Bangalore is always better. Any other question? That's it.
Any other question? One more question. Done? So one last one.
Spend nearly 2 hours.
Sorry for taking the mic again. Sir, in one of your speeches, you have recommended candidates to take centers like Raichur, centers where coaching issues are not very much high to get better ranks. Is that really a good strategy?
Yeah. So what is question is that to write mains examination, prelims you can write from Bangalore, Dharwad, and Mysore in Karnataka. To write mains examination, I came up with a theory among my students. Put your center of examination outside Bangalore. Now, what is happening in Bangalore is that since insights came up, the nearly 80% of the people who write mains in Bangalore are the products of insights, right? They write almost similar level of, not similar type, similar level of content in their answers, in their essays. So now that is negatively impacting them. It is like one examination hall, you have like 500 students, you see each other like all are familiar to you. All of them have practiced n number of tests and everything. So when you write similar kind of answer and essay, the marks are coming down. Because this bundle goes for evaluation, right, from one center. And one bundle, if one individual takes to evaluate your all history answers, then they start seeing all similar history content. See, it's difficult to give more marks to any one individual. Within them, those who have written even more better. Very few people can do that. So they are getting. So I came up with a theory that spread across India, go to different centers where there is no strong coaching culture. Right? So Delhi has multiple centers, you can go to Delhi. And Raipur, Bhopal, and like Ranchi, Bhubaneswar, Guwahati. So the competition you face is not this tough. Your answer any day will stand out. If you prepare from Bangalore and if you go there, your answer will stand out from the crowd and you will get advantage. And this theory is proven every year. And those students who go out Bangalore, they reach minimum interview stage. And if 3 people are going, 2 of them are getting selected. Shall we conclude? Okay.